Hi, everybody. I'm Nicole,
And my name's Brittany.
and this is the 11-Minute Mile, episode 8. We're just going to talk about wedding stuff. We absolutely loved planning our weddings and had so much fun. Obviously, very sad that it's over. We wish we could relive it, but this one's kind of going to be just like a ramble thing, just talking about the things that we did, our favorite things, maybe the things that went wrong, if there were any. But Brittany, you want to start like maybe just talking about your wedding planning and how you begun? Because I feel like that is the hardest part for a bride because it's really overwhelming and you look at this big thing and you're like, okay, well, where do I start? There's so many things. There's a list of opportunity here.
Yeah. So when I got engaged, Dan and I got engaged in Arizona. And I think the first thing is like figuring out the where, like where you're going to get married. My family was from Florida. His family is from Pennsylvania. We met in New York. So we were like, everyone's going to be traveling anyways. And also, this is back in 2022. So kind of during COVID. So we were like, you know what? Like, let's do it in a safe place that we know is going to be open, that everybody is going to love. So we chose Arizona. So that's kind of how we like decided that side of the equation, which I feel like is like a main piece. And at the time we were still living there. So we were just like, okay, let's book a venue. Let's book like, because you want just like the main things, like whether you're doing a DJ band, the location, and kind of like the number of people, like of what you kind of want. And I think that's really challenging because you're like, where do you cut off the list? Or like for me, both of us, like we are a little bit different in the way that we did ours because you had like a humongous wedding, but mine was like 150 people. But it's so hard because when you're a people person, you're like, I just want
Mhm.
everybody to be there.
Still big though. 150 is still big. That's
Yeah.
not
And it
small.
ended, no, and it ended up being like 120, which is like for a destination wedding was like a lot. And I understood that it was asking a lot, but Arizona, if you've never been, you have to go. It's incredible. And that's kind of like where we started our planning process. What about you guys?
I mean, you kind of know like my whole wedding journey too, but I always knew that we would get married in Buffalo. Chris wanted to get married in Buffalo too, and since he's from Cleveland, Buffalo and Cleveland are only like 2.5 hours apart, which people are always really surprised by that. And we just have huge families and lots of friends, and we knew our parents would want to invite everyone. So we just wanted like a huge banger, like backyard banger kind of thing. And we wanted to allow our parents to invite whoever they wanted as well. So it was during COVID, unfortunately, but luckily our venue was like, I mean, you remember, Brittany, it was like half indoor, half outdoor, mostly outdoor. The barn was
Yeah.
like the desserts and just like the main bar. But we got really lucky because we were right in that, like, it was October 2nd, 2021. So we were like right in that gap where COVID kind of declined and we didn't have to cut our list at all. But then after that, I feel like COVID sort of came back. But everybody felt really comfortable coming just because it was outdoors. So that was
Hmm.
great that we did that. But we invited 400 and we had around like three, like a low three, and which was like perfect. 400 would have been way too much at the venue, but we knew people, you send out those invites and you know people are not going to be able to come. And I didn't get a wedding planner. I always knew I wanted to do all of the planning and my mom would be really, really helpful. So that's kind of what mine was. But
Yeah.
I did lots of research. I knew it was going to be expensive just because there was so many people. So I definitely was very, very smart when picking my vendors. For instance, I wanted an 8-piece band and I wanted the horns, and I didn't care if it was a wedding band, a disco band, whatever, but I just knew I couldn't spend $10,000 on a band. So I found one that was $3,500, and people are still shocked to this day that our band was $3,500.
And I
Um,
think that's like tricky with like the location of where you're getting married because like if you were to get married in Manhattan, like forget about it. You could never find
no
anything for
way.
that amount. But you guys kind of had a
No way.
harder time finding a venue that could like host that many people. So
Oh
that was
my
like a
gosh.
challenge in itself.
Yeah, you're right. I feel like when we first started looking, I was almost in tears because A, everyone's weddings, and I don't know if you had the same thing for it, but everyone's weddings kept getting pushed because of the pandemic, of course. And so all of the venues were booked up, and then most of the venues I looked at just physically couldn't hold that amount of people. And
Yeah, I
this
remember you
was,
having that problem. I remember you being stressed out about that.
yeah, but it ended up working out. I'd never heard of this venue, and it was like a secret dream venue, and it was great. It was great.
And
But
now they host weddings. Like yours was the first one and now
they always hosted weddings, but it was smaller, and I don't think as many people knew about it. But yeah, there was probably like 7 or 8 weddings that booked because of ours, like right after. So
amazing.
it was fun. But I guess, Brittany, what was your favorite? Do one challenge. Like, I'm curious what challenges you had, or something that might have went wrong at the wedding, and then maybe like two of your favorite. Because I don't even know if I know
Well,
this.
yeah, I don't even really, to be completely honest, I really don't think we had any challenges. I think what I was most concerned about and most worried about leading up to the wedding was making sure it was like easy for people because I was already asking them to come so far. We got married in Scottsdale, Arizona. So it was like 20 minutes from Phoenix Airport. So I like was concerned about it being like difficult
Mhm.
for people. So I tried my absolute hardest to not make it difficult. So we got married like at a resort. Basically, it was like everybody stayed. It was basically like a college campus for like all of my friends and family. And I did it that way to eliminate any issues. Like I didn't want people like running late to the wedding or not being able to come because of like traffic or not being able to rent a car or being too far away. So that was one thing that I really focused on to eliminate those challenges. But luckily, like I don't think I had any.
That's great. And
Yeah.
I do think that that's really important when you're doing a destination wedding, because people are already traveling so far. So to make it like logistically easy once they're there is great. Like, I love the venue. We like went to the pool. Like, everything was right there for your
Yeah.
wedding. So it was really great.
It was like a group field trip for all of my friends
Great.
and family.
Just a
Yeah.
big party
But-
for a few days.
Yeah. What would you say was your favorite thing about your wedding?
Oh, I am like, this is so
I
hard.
mean,
This
it's difficult.
It
One of
is.
your favorite things.
So I this is like such a small thing, but I feel like, in you know this, Brittany, because we were both in each other's bridal party, but pictures, for the bridal party, I feel like can be so taxing, because at that point everyone's like, I just want to party, drink, eat, dance, have fun. And so I knew that I wanted to make our pictures fun and like interactive. So we did our pictures on top of a rooftop bar that was stunning in downtown Buffalo. And we got a bunch of bottles of champagne. And honestly, those were my favorite pictures too, because they were really candid and everyone was just having a good time. So it wasn't the picture part wasn't boring. And I think that it was like a really good thing to do.
Yeah,
And that's a
being there,
random
I
thing.
don't even think I remember it being like photos. I think it was like, oh, we're
Yeah.
stopping at this bar and the photographer is going to be there just taking your picture. It was great.
It was so low key, and they were my favorite pictures by far from our like wedding album. You never said your favorite thing.
Oh yeah, my favorite thing. So one of this I think is like the most unique, or I don't know if it's
I
unique,
like
but
this.
I I was not anticipating liking doing this. My DJ, he recommended doing a last dance with just Dan and I at the end of the night. Like nobody was there. They would kind of like after you do like the farewell circle, everybody kind of leaves the room and then they line up. So when you exit, but it was like your last dance together, just you two, and you kind of like just reconnecting, kind of like because during the wedding night, there's so many things. You're going like you're being pulled a million different ways. You're not really with your like new spouse. And in those moments, I was like, that was the best feeling because it's like you pick like it's not your wedding song, but it's like we picked the Justin Bieber song. So we were like, of course, like belting it out and like joking around. But that was like a really special moment that I wasn't expecting to love. And I highly recommend everybody do it because it's just like that last final like reconnection at the end of the night. So we really like that.
I think that's super cute, and I actually didn't even know that you guys did that, so I love that story.
Yeah.
This episode could be probably 5 or 6 episodes, I think.
Yeah.
We just really love getting married, and it's the best thing ever. Like, I think that it can become so stressful, but and it did at points. Don't get us wrong. It is stressful. You're spending a lot of money. You're having all these people come in. You want to make sure everyone has a good time. But I think it's super important to take a step back and just enjoy the process because looking back, I really enjoyed the process. And I know you did too,
I
Bray.
loved it. Yeah. It
It
was
was
so
so
fun.
fun.
Yeah.
And you'll never get to plan a party that big again, most likely. So I think that that's it, though. We should definitely do a second episode for this one.
Absolutely. I could talk about this literally forever because there's about 9 other things that I absolutely love and think everybody needs to do. But
Yes.
for now, that's enough.
That's it, you guys. Well, we'll see you for episode 9, I think. I'm
Episode
losing track.
9.
Oh my gosh, that happened so quickly. We're almost at 10, double digits, baby.
So
But
fast.
enjoy your day, everyone. Hopefully, we were entertaining for 11 minutes of your commute or wherever you are. And we'll see you next time.
We'll see you soon. Talk later.
Bye.